Hey everyone. Um, so this is part two of the series on recognition of the truth. So if you watch the first part where I discuss the Anatalakana Sutta or the discourse on the not self, it was pretty clear how what we identify as the self or the I is not the body or the mind, which comprises of feelings, perceptions, intentions, and we're not even the consciousness. So I spoke about how I was a little confused about how we're not even the consciousness, how the self is not the consciousness. So the second bit that helped sort of move this understanding along is this amazing book um, called The Lost Writings of Hsin, um, Pointers to Non-Duality in 5 volumes. So at, at the time that I sort of came across this book, I just one day I just opened. So there are no page numbers in this book. So one particular day I just opened like the middle of the book, and just these 2 pages sort of helped clarify in a big way what we were just talking about. So I would just love to read this and see if I can add anything at all to it. But yeah, let's see. So this is the forward to volume 3, in the shadow of the formless. So the writer is Roy Melvyn, who's translated Hsin's writings. So he says in volume 3, in the shadow of the formless, Hsin continues his great treatise with some surprising statements. For example, one inherent error is the preference for the song of the future over the seeming blandness of the present moment. Another error is using the mind to try to understand the words of Hsin. The mind is a tool unsuited to this task. The proper tool is silence. The seed is in the ground, the sun will shine, the rain will fall. Nothing need be done. Nothing need be done. After all the words have been read, after their meaning has been pondered with new concepts possibly added, nothing need be done. How hard this is for the Western mind to accept. What do I need to do to get it? Is the usual question. Here, Hsin provides the disconcerting answer nothing need be done. Behind this statement lies the even more disquieting question who is there to do anything? Therein, the reader is returned to one of the central themes of Hsin, that is, that there really is no such thing as an individual. There is a belief of separateness, that you are separate from the rest. There is nothing you can do to rid yourself of this belief because you is the belief. Stated in modern terms, the philosophy of Hsin could be summed up in this manner. There is thinking and there is functioning distinct from thinking. Thinking reflects the programming for survival, for continuity, which manifests through the psychosomatic apparatus. A reference point is created via the thought me. This me is the sum or totality of all fears, the fear of pain, the fear of loss, and ultimately the fear of absence. Most of the thoughts regarding me are repetitious and extraneous feedback loop in the nervous system. Interestingly, however, thought is not born in the brain any more than a radio creates sound. It is merely transmitted through it. Functioning occurs through the workings of consciousness and the life force. Functioning is effortless and natural. Cells are replaced, wastes are eliminated, what needs to be done gets done. There is an aware presence energy. Giving attention to thought perpetuates the programming. Giving attention to the functioning, the aware presence energy facilitates the deprogramming. The I, me, is latent in the apparatus at birth, as the flower is latent in the seed. The preliminary programming is installed genetically. At some point between 18 to 24 months, sufficient memories, both pleasant and unpleasant, have accumulated, thereby triggering the I, me, or self consciousness to arise. Seeing itself as separate and insecure causes the activation, boot, of the programming as a means of protection. It is perpetually modified and adjusted or upgraded by the experiences of the apparatus and is further tweaked by the moment by moment adjustments made by the endocrine system. From that point forward, the hardware, soma, receives the input from the environment. It is processed by the software, the psyche, which provides the output or the reaction. There is no individual as such doing anything. Everything that happens is the cause of everything that happens. There is no center to infinity. I strongly doubt that Woshin would want readers to take him at his word. Instead, he would ask that each investigate the matter deeply within oneself. Search for the individual, locate the operating center. This is the lasting challenge of one of the most profound teachers of all time. Okay, so there's a lot in just those 2 pages. So the essence that sort of struck me at that point, especially as a follow up to the previous uh, teachings, is this part about thinking, which is the mind. We've already sort of spoken about how the perceptions or intentions or feelings are constantly changing, and so they're not you. And now we just come to the consciousness, and you wonder what is consciousness. So this sort of clarifies saying it's just the functioning, which is sort of enabling everything to happen. Like cells are replaced, waste are eliminated, what needs to be done gets done. It's just the life force that's moving, making things happen. And so this point of the self-consciousness, which is sort of triggered at around 2 years of age, where you start assuming I, me as a thought. And then this whole programming is triggered as a means of protection, and perpetually modified by all the experiences. So everything we do, every action, every reaction is just a part of this conditioning. And so identifying the I with that self-consciousness is wrong, is obviously wrong, because there's nothing there. It's just an apparatus, the body, which is sort of programmed and conditioned. The psyche, like he says, the hardware or the soma receives the input, and it is processed by this software, which is the psyche, which is just this collection of like processes, which it goes through based on every experience you've had, and provides the appropriate reaction. So he says, where is the individual? Find the individual. Who is this I? So this sort of clarifies how there is nobody here. There is nothing that you want to identify as the I. The whole concept of emptiness, the nothingness, or the zero becomes pretty clear. Thank you for listening.